Hello everyone, welcome to Distilling Insights YouTube channel. Today we'll be dealing with the basics of conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is one of the functions that are available on Microsoft Excel. It allows us to automatically change the appearance of cells based on their values. Now, what I'm actually saying in that sense is that conditional formatting is under the home ribbon. These are ribbons. Under the home ribbon, in the style section, we have the conditional formatting, we have the formatters table, and we have the cell styles. So, but our focus today is on the conditional formatting. For you to be able to do any conditional formatting on any of the Excel documents you want to work on, what you need to do is to first select the data. So I've just selected the data for the first mathematical test. Then you pick up the icon here. Under the basics, we'll be covering the highlights cell rules, the top bottom rules, the data bars, the color scales, and the icon sets. Now for the highlight cells rules, meaning the cells that has been highlighted, if we want to check something that is greater than a particular button. Now the greater here, the cell brings up pop up this tab whereby we have the value that should be greater than, but what I want to check for is that it should mark any value that is greater than 10, since 10 is the average. So you can come here to change the color. This says light red fill with dark red text, but I'll prefer green because it's greater than 10, or preferably greater than 9, because 10 is the pass mark. So anything greater than 9 should be highlighted, and it should give that figure. Now we are having this. You realize that all of the things that were highlighted here are values that are greater than 9. The only 3 values that were not highlighted were 8, 7, and 9, in which what resulted into that was because of our instruction, which is what I'm also repeating again. Now I just want to make sure it is green, so you select the green. So we didn't select it the other time, that's why it remains red. Now that is that. If we change this figure to 8, you see that it removes it automatically. Now if we revert it back to what it was, that gives us the value. Another thing that I want to bring up is that we can also do conditional formatting under the highlight cell for something that is lesser. Now I want to pick it to be lesser. Anything that is lesser than 10 should be highlighted red. Now you can see the 3 things that has been highlighted red. Anything that is less than 10 is highlighted red. We can as well apply the same thing on this total score, but I'm just taking it from here. Anything that is above 10 is green. Anything above 9 precisely is green, that is 10 to 20, and anything from 9 downward is red, just to typify probably they pass the average score or not. Now another thing that we also need to do, we also want to apply, let's apply it on this cell. So the conditional formatting, we also want to apply something else here. We want to check between, meaning anyone that gets between 10 and 15, we want to pick them. I will use yellow here. So those are the set of people. Anyone that get between 10 to 15, I just highlighted for this. Probably we need it for a particular thing. Now another aspect that we can also do under this highlight is the text contains, meaning we can just say the text contains 2. You can see that all the ones that are having 2 in them has been changed to red because of this light red field with dark red text. So anything that has 7, you can see 7 7, you can see, or probably anything that has 1, you can see all of them that has 1, that have 1 rather. Each one of the numbers that have 1 has been picked up here. Once you click OK, then it highlights it. And now, how do you eliminate that? You can just come to clear rules. You clear for selected cell or for the entire sheet. Now, the next thing under the highlight of cell rules is this date occurring. For this date occurring, I want us to use this cell, this Excel sheet that has a date. Now, this Excel sheet has a date, and another thing which is just a simple thing that I would just want to share here is that this Excel sheet, you can see the way it moves down to the end of the year. I can just use shortcut to create this. Then with this, you can see that it auto generates from today's date to the end of the year, which is this. So moving forward, let's try as much as possible to do a conditional formatting of this. So the conditional formatting of this in terms of dates recurring. Now, date occurring, if we go there, that's for next week. You can as well pick a date formatting for next month. For next month, you see that is been highlighted. But I want to change it to yellow in order to separate it with the previous from the previous one. So next month is already here, showing us that from 1st of November we'll be having next month. So we can use the highlight to also pick on that. So going back to our previous Excel sheet, we can just use highlighted cell to also do duplicate, to check for duplicate. Now, this duplicate, once we click OK, realize we're having 14 14 here. That's why it's highlighting 14, 15 and 15, and 18 and 18, 19, 19. So that's why it highlights them. So with this, we can easily remove duplicates from this result and we move on. Now, that's the first thing about the highlight cell rules. We've exhausted that. The next thing is on the top bottom rules. So I'll be clearing the rules here as we'll be applying it to something else. So I'll be clearing the rules in each of the sheets that we've used. So now I want to apply the same rule now here. We want to check on the first test. On the first test, who are the top 10? Who are the top 10 on the first test? Who are the top 10 students on the first test? So since we are dealing with the top 10, that's the top item. I'll be using green for the top 10 students. So the top 10 students for that first test are these ones that are in the green icon. Now, if I want to do the bottom 10 for these people, it will be this bottom 10, and those are the ones in the red. However, for clarification's sake, I want to bring this to your notice that we can also do top 10%. Please note, top 10% is different from top 10. Top 10 is the first 10 people in that class that had the good score. But 10%, the number of students in this school is in this classes are 20, because this is the first cell, this is the last cell, this is 20 students. If we want to get that by virtue of numbering, we can as well quickly do that, because with this we can easily know that we are only having 20 students in the class. Now in the class of 20 students, the top 10% of the 20 students will be 2. So by the time we highlight this and we are looking for the top 20 students, top 10% of the students, I would love green to be the top. Now, the top 10% should be 2. But because there is a tie of 19 and 19, that's why we're having this here. If you do it for this, you realize that there is no tie and it will just be 2 here. The top 10% is this for the total score, just 2, because 10% of 20 is 2. Now, on the same total score, if we choose to pick the last 10%, the bottom 10%, you can see there is this 260 that it's picked. Let's also do the same here. We should pick on the last 10%. You can see it's just 2 that it brought up here. That's the last 10%. The next one is above average. So on this cell, please see this 69.7 is the average score. You can see the formula at the top here, which is F22, the cell F22. The average score of this total score here is what gave us 69.7. Now, we want to check for, we want to do conditional formatting for students that score above average. The student that score above the average of the class should have green. These are the students that scored above average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 students score above 69.7. You realize 69 is not there because it's lower than 69.7. Now, we can decide to also look for those that score below the average to be in red. You see, those that score below the average of the class, not the average score for that particular test, but the average of the class. That's all about the top and bottom rows. So I'll be clearing these rows in order to be able to utilize and practice layhold on other rows. So the next thing that I'll be dealing with, you can as well use this, is the data bar. The data bar appears in this manner. We have two fields, the gradient field and the solid field. The gradient field has a bar chart that seemingly looks light for each of them, like this, or glossy kind of. However, the solid field covers up with the thickness of each of the bars, just like this. That's for the solid bar. Now, this bar, we can always have a color change or anything that we so decide. Remember, this is just for the basics. And to manage our time, enhance concentration, we will limit ourselves to the basics in this session. The advanced one is coming soon. Now, for the colors, this color can be set like this. Now, we are having a conditional formatting for color scales. These color scales can be set by coming to more rules. For the more rules, we can easily pick up this scale. We can pick up this scale. We can pick up this scale. We can pick up the scale, we can pick up the scale, but preferably let's pick this. However, let's go back to see the rule that gave us this, or we just pick on the manage rules. When we manage rule, you see the graded color the way it is. However, in order to edit this rule, to check what it's actually dealing with, this is telling us 3-color scale. This 3-color scale is having the lowest value, the percentile, and the highest value. The highest value, the farther it goes towards the right, the more greenish it is, like we have for 83, 86. We have for those values. Those ones that are not as high as 80, 75, 75, 79, 72, 71, 75, you can see the greenish color we're fainting. The same applies to the lower value, and that is that about the color style for the basic level. The next thing is the icon set. In order for us to set the icon set, it's very easy. The icon set can easily be set using the directional icons, the shapes, the indicators, or the rating icons. So preferably, I'll be using this rating icon. You realize each of these things has been shown here. But in order to have a better grasp of how it looks, you can go through the more rules. Now, under the more rules, when you pick up this and you go down, you see the icon that has been selected, and you see how it is being placed. Meaning, when the value is 80 or greater than 80, then it is full. However, considering for this Excel sheet, our distinction is from 75. So when it is equal to or greater than 75, then it should be full. While what next is that when it is less than 80 and greater than or equal to, you can see that immediately I click there, 75 this has been changed to less than 75. So when it is less than 75 and greater than say 60, then it is this. When it is less than 60 and greater than 50, then we have this. When it is less than 50, you can see this has changed to 50. When it is less than 50 but greater than 39, then we have this. But once it is less than 39, it means we will not have anything. Please note what we have in here. You realize that this 75 will change to full immediately we finish this row. So this tells us more about the fact that all of this formatting can be used just for us to have a better way all of these things work. So the icon set, we are just going through again because it can be changed to numbers here. So when we are picking our numbers, we are saying if the value is greater than or equals to 75, if it is greater than or equals to 60, if it is greater than or equals to 50, if it is greater than or equal to 39, no, greater than or equal to 40, so now you can see that it has changed immediately, as I said previously. Another thing is that one of the things that happened to this thing here was that I clicked that it should show only icon. When this is clicked out from showing only icon, just like this, we have 9. Okay, so we already conclude that this is 75, and this is 60, and this is 50, and this is 40. By the time we have this, I will click on OK. We have both the numbers and this. So anyone that has A is having the full icon, and the icon can also be changed. Maybe we'll prefer this, but we can easily see what the rule is for the icon we have selected. So the rule for this icon is in this manner, meaning 75, 50, and 25. So we can select any of the icon sets rather, in order for us to be able to do what we need to do. From the Stealing Insight, we say thank you for listening. Please ensure to practice and lay your hands on several conditional formatting Excel questions. Also bear in mind that the advanced conditional formatting courses class will be released soon, and this will actually help to foster how to better use conditional formatting, leveraging on the rules and complex formulas as it relates to advanced conditional formatting. Thanks for listening. Please ensure to subscribe, like, and share if you like our content, in order to get notification each time we give a drop of a new one. Thank you, and bye-bye.